Good morning, COVID-19 fighters. I hope you're healthy. Hope your family's healthy. Again, it's my attempt, Kendra's attempt on behalf of the Slido magazine to make us happy, and we hope by so doing we're making you happy too. We're enjoying reflecting on some of our old stories. Many of my stories are serious, but right now and today, as I was a couple of days ago, I'm in a sub-series of stories that are lighter, things that we did were fun. So, with that in mind, let's get started. Just for fun, a series subtitled Old Joe. Going to church was a social thing back in the 1950s. I'm sure that salvation was garnered by those who attended, or at least some of them. But by and large, I think people went because there was nothing else to do except work. We went Sunday morning, Sunday evening, and Wednesday night. In the summer, we went to revival every night, sometimes for 2 weeks straight. Church was a big thing in our lives. Our church was located the second building off the corner. There was a house that was located on the second lot on the street perpendicular to ours. In other words, the backyards of the two properties met. The owner had been a merchant marine and had traveled all over the world. At some point, he brought back a giant parrot named Old Joe. In the spring and summer, the parrot was kept in a large wooden cage directly behind the sanctuary. Old Joe had been around sailors too much and had picked up some pretty foul language. F-O-W-L, foul language. The singing in our service seemed to set him off, and he would answer our string of sacred hymns with a loud and repeated, ah, shh, ah, shh. He would continue repeating this for a long time. One of the adults in our church must have had some knowledge of behavioral conditioning in Pavlov's dogs. He asked 3 of us boys to take water guns, and when Old Joe cut loose, to soak him with the water gun. This sounded like fun to us. Well, Joe had the ability to change his voice, or at least his inflections, to sound like the person who heard talking. When Old Joe started cursing, we opened up on him with water pistols, and one of the boys yelled, "Take this, Joe, take this, Joe." Joe responded with the F-bomb in my friend's voice. Church dismissed early that day. Some of the church officials visited with Joe's owner to see what could be done about Old Joe and his bad behavior. At first, the owner was resentful, but the committee reminded him that we had an anti-profanitary ordinance in town. For a while, it seemed like the matter was headed to court. I could just see the headlines in the newspaper. Does a parrot have First Amendment rights? An agreement was finally made with the owner to keep Old Joe inside while the service was being held, and the legality of the parrot and his freedom of speech was never decided. I understand Old Joe lived about 15 more years. Church sure was fun when Old Joe was alive.